Good evening. My name is Chef Minetti. Tonight we're going to do a shrimp scampi with a seafood sauce. First we're going to start with is the garlic. And as you can see, I've already got some of it already peeled. And I left one unpeeled, and for one particular reason. It's because, as you can tell on this, there's a little green knob on here. Now, that doesn't mean that the garlic is bad. It is a little bit on the old side, but what I would always recommend for people to do is to get rid of that. And to get rid of that, basically you want to peel it. Take off your peel. You have a garbage can down here, so if you're wondering if I'm just doing it on the floor or not. And then you're just going to slice this open right down the middle, and right where it's green, I'm just going to remove that piece. The reason why you want to take this out is because it does have a little bit of bitterness to it, and you want to remove that. Once that's removed, then it's basically just the same as the others. Now in this recipe, it's called for 4 cloves of garlic, and I just showed you this one just for demonstration purposes only. Now, you can obviously chop this how you usually chop your garlic, but I happen to have this one device which I highly recommend you get. It's great for small amounts of garlic or onions or shallots or anything like that. It makes your job a lot easier, and your hands don't get full of garlic. It's so much easier. So I removed the little hard part, and I just kind of cut these things up roughly. Get rid of that. And these two. And the same thing. Cut these right up like that. And then, I'll show you how simple this is. You actually place this in this device. And then just line up these arrows like this. And then turn it, and it locks it in so nothing comes out. It has like kind of like an old I guess gas starting lawnmower. Just give this a little turn. As you can kind of see where it's at this point, you can get it to the desired likeness that you like. I happen to like it a little bit finer. We're going to saute this a little bit so we can start marinating the shrimp. And at that point, you just turn it, and there you have it. It does an excellent job. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by grabbing this garlic, and I'm just going to do is I'm making basically a little bit of a saute with the garlic in the butter. I've got a 1/4 cup of olive oil here, and not extra virgin, just regular olive oil. Okay, and equal parts of butter. I find that the combination of the two gives it a little bit more depth in its flavor. Okay. So I'm just going to heat that up. I'm going to add at this point, it's probably maybe about a teaspoon of some red chili flakes. And just give it a little bit of spice. We'll let that start to melt. And once that melts, what I'm going to do, this thing, you just push these together and this comes right out. And then later on we'll put that garlic once that gets heated through. And then at this point what we're going to do is we're going to come back over to the shrimp, because I'm going to make a stock that we're going to add to the pasta at the end, and it's going to really give this this pasta sauce a lot more depth than if you were just to add just the garlic and the parsley and all of the wine and everything else we're going to do later on in this demonstration. So what I'm going to do right now is, I've already done this. This is about 2 pounds of shrimp, and basically what I've done is I've already taken off all the shells. It's been deveined, and I'm just going to show you this basically how this works. I got one here left I didn't do. You just basically pull this off, and I don't throw away any of this. There's lots of flavor in this shell. This is something that a lot of people do, is they throw this away and it loses all this beautiful flavor in this. Sometimes I actually leave the tail if I want to, for presentation reasons. I'll leave a tail on, and it actually, I don't know, I think it tastes a little bit better, to be honest with you. But tonight we're not doing it that way. So I can hear my butter and oil and my chili flakes starting to get hot. So at this stage, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my garlic, and I'm going to turn my heat down a little bit. Let me tell you, the most important thing about this whole dish is not to overdo the garlic. If you overdo the garlic, it'll be so bitter that it will ruin this dish. And the delicacy of the shrimp itself is one of the things you're trying to accomplish, is to taste that sweetness that the shrimp has to offer. And if you overdo the garlic, it could be bad. So what I'm going to do basically is just get this to sizzle a little bit. You know, this is like type of thing you almost have to keep an eye. You can't walk away from it at this point. You really got to watch it. And it's almost a smell thing. I can smell it. And as soon as I start to smell it, I start thinking, okay, that's just about where I want to stop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this down just a little bit longer. The smell's starting to get a lot more stronger now. So what I want to do is just keep an eye on it, turn my heat down. Yeah, that heat is hot. That's when I start browning it. Okay, and if that starts to brown at this stage, you've ruined it. You might as well start all over again. Okay, and it's kind of like when these bubbles just about stop, that I know that I can kick this thing back. And we're just about there. And right there. So now I'm going to take this off the fire. Now I'm going to do is I'm just going to let that sit for a while. And right now what's happening is this oil and butter mixture right now is pretty much extracting the oils out of the garlic. So I'm making kind of like a garlic oil right now. And I'm going to marinate these shrimp in there in a moment. And now at this present time, while that's kind of seeping into the garlic or into the oil, I'm going to heat this pot up. I'm going to start my stock. The stock is really easy. I take those shells that we talked about, add those to a pot. Add them on the ground. Okay, bring that up to heat a little bit. And at this point, I'm going to add about a quarter cup of wine or so. Yeah, up to you. And I like to use a Chardonnay in this. A Sauvignon Blanc would work, but I like to use the Chardonnay. A vermouth would work in a situation like this. And I even know people that even use a dry sherry too, if you really want to take it to that level. It tastes a little bit different, but you can use that if that's all you have. All right. So the same thing with this is I just want to bring this up, get a little heat in this. I want to cook off some of the alcohol. And the same, you'll start to see these shells start to change color a little bit. And right when these start to change color, it's about, I know almost that's about the same time that I want to have a cup of just regular tap water here. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to add a little bit of some, this is salt, regular sea salt that I'm going to add a little bit too, just a touch. Salt always brings out the flavor of things. The way the salt works is like, they give it as keys. And as the salt enters your mouth, it opens up these little doors in your mouth and lets the flavor in. And that's the reason why you use salt. And different kinds of salt open up different doors. So that's why there's different kinds of salt. Okay, so you can see the shells now are turning pink. At this point, I can start smelling the alcohol. You can see that's even turned a little bit pink. Okay, and at this stage, look at this, there's a shrimp in here. Huh. Good job cleaning those out. So, over there. Alright. Okay. I can smell the seafood, I can smell the wine now, and now it's starting to boil. And at this stage, I'm going to add my water. Okay. And what I'm trying to look for here is I'm trying to do a little reduction on this. I'm going to reduce this by half. And at this point here, I'm going to add just a little squeeze of lemon, just a touch, just to brighten it up a little bit. And let that cook down. And then at this point, we're going to come back over to this pan where we have the oil infusing with the garlic and the chilies. And I'm going to grab about, maybe about half of this and add this mixture right now to my shrimp. Get a little bit of garlic in there. About half. Not the whole thing, just about half. Okay. And then I'm going to just bring that back over here. And as that's cooking down over there, this is going to be marinating these shrimp. At the same time, I'm creating this flavor that everybody's just going to love. A little bit more attention to the type of cooking that I do than some of the videos you might see on YouTube. But anyway, I mean, I just love the way food comes out when I spend a little bit more time with it, and the attention to detail really shows. Okay, as we come back to looking at this, you can see this has come to a full boil. It's starting to reduce. The shells are completely pink. You can smell that. It's smelling really good. And right now, I'm going to wait for about 15 minutes, and then I'll be back with you, and we'll go to the next step. Thank you.